everyone! So today we're going to talk about Talia's battle with meningitis. So following our labor story, if you haven't seen it, check down below, I'll put the link. Talia came home from the NICU. So following labor and her staying in the NICU, being discharged home, everything was great. We had our normal checkup at our doctor's and everything was fine. Everything was fine. Her temp was fine. Everything was great. She was a good little girl. She was growing. At birth, she was born at 7 pounds, 8 ounces, 19 inches long at 8:34 p.m. on December the 6th. So by a week later, we had her our follow-up at our normal doctor's, and she was back at normal birth weight. What was she at? I think she was 7 pounds 10 ounces. So she was actually just a smidge above birth weight, which is like outstanding for a newborn. So usually it takes up to 2 weeks to get back to birth weight, they say. She was back at just after a week, which is amazing. She was in the NICU. I was trying to breastfeed. I wasn't fully in yet. My milk wasn't fully in yet. So it is truly amazing. She was just eating so well. Sorry, she's like such a drool monster. So she was eating great. We never had any issues with eating. They were giving her a bottle at home. Then when I came into the NICU, I was trying to give her breast. She just did whatever she had to do to get food. She was just a hungry girl, and she didn't care either way as long as it fed her. So we never had nipple confusion. She went back and forth from bottle to breast. She, bless you, she did fantastic between nipple and bottle and this and that. I was so worried. I think I over worried myself about nipple confusion because she just did whatever she had to do. We came home from the NICU, and from that point, she was a normal baby. We treated her as a normal baby. She was sleeping in her rock and play next to our bed, and she was doing good. Out of nowhere, one night, she was just extra fussy. I think this was a Monday night. She was extra fussy, extra crying. At this point, she was just 2 weeks old. She was such a quiet, docile, easy baby until that night that I was like, what the heck is going on? Is my milk not coming in? I was pumping. Everything seemed normal. I was very full, feeding her well. So it was just so strange. And we had been to the doctor's maybe 4 days prior to that for a weight check, and she was gaining like crazy. So I knew it couldn't have been her hunger unless she was going through a growth spurt. So I woke up that morning very early, maybe 5 a.m. She woke up upset again. And I finally took her temperature. I just didn't know what was wrong. I took her temperature and it was 100.4. Yes, it's 100.4 the first time I took it, which is crazy alarming. 100.5 is when my doctor said if she gets to 100.5, you have to call, you have to come in. It's very serious for newborns. So at 100.4, I knew something was really wrong. I called my doctor immediately, the emergency number. They had me come in first thing as soon as I could get her ready to go. I went into the doctor. They checked her. At the doctor, her temperature was 100.5 then, and they said, this is number one. She looks fine. Neurologically, she looks great. She's alert. She's okay. She's crying. That's a good thing, but it's 100.5. We're going to send you into the children's ER to get a workup on her, because just to be safe, but we think this is something viral. So at that point, I had I'd gotten a little nervous, but they had told me if we go to the ER, we're gonna get admitted. It's a newborn. They're gonna do a full workup and want cultures. So we're gonna be there for 2 days. Now this was the week of Christmas. Of course, like things just have to go down on an important holiday with a newborn. So we went in, we did her workup, which just, again, was awful. She was still fussing and crying, and she never fussed and cried before then. they had to do a spinal tap on her, which was absolutely horrific. I had a spinal tap the week prior, so I knew how bad it hurt just to think they were doing that to my little girl. It broke my heart. Yeah? Did it break your heart? Holding your child down when they're taking blood or doing any kind of culture work is so hard. So all you mamas out there have sick babies or going through cancer, leukemia, anything, I give you 100% props, because that was so incredibly devastating to me as a mom to have to hold her down and knowing that we had to do what we were doing, but she was just scared and in pain. There's no feeling in the it's awful. I never pray that my friends or anyone has to go through having a sick baby, because it's an awful feeling. In the ER, they had to do the spinal tap, they took blood, and we were just waiting. It was a 2-day culture, so we had to be admitted up to the floor and wait for any kind of results. Blood came back completely fine. So we assumed it was something viral. The spinal tap was the last thing, and they wait for the full 48 hours. And typically with meningitis, they like to see the culture turn right away. Usually they know right away if it's meningitis, and they said that to me. If this is meningitis, we should know by hour 16, 17. Usually it comes up really quickly. It's usually a very nasty bacteria in there that we can see very clearly. So the morning of discharge, actually, because everything has been coming back negative, and this is Christmas Eve, they said, you know what, you're going home tomorrow morning. You're great, everything's looking good. We have to wait the full 40 hours until we send you home, but at 40 hours, we're confident that she should be fine. So we were excited. It was Christmas Eve. We were going to be going home. We were going to do our Christmas things that we had planned with our family. People were going to meet her because they hadn't yet met her. And then hour 39 came, and her results turned positive for bacterial meningitis. So hour 39, we were 1 hour away from going home. Thank God it turned positive when it did, because we would have had to gone home and then come all the way back if that had turned positive at any point during the 48 hours. So she had bacterial meningitis, which is awful. Bacterial meningitis is an infection in the spinal fluid that surrounds your spine and your brain. This can affect speech, developmental delays, hearing. Hearing is a huge thing. It can affect her hearing and her life. Bacterial meningitis can be deadly, and it is a very serious diagnosis, and we were shocked. Everyone was shocked. The doctors were shocked. My pediatrician's office was shocked. We did not expect her to be one of those babies, because usually those babies are super lethargic. They don't respond well to tests. They don't cry. They don't. Their systems are already kind of like preserving and not shutting down, but preserving their energy, and you can just tell they are just sleepy like babies. She was not that. She was very awake and very happy when she was happy, but then when it would hurt, and she would shrill and squeak and cry. Christmas Eve, her temperature was stable. They had been giving her Tylenol throughout her entire stay at the hospital, and her temperature had stabilized around 99, which is okay. And it had not spiked again. The next morning after it turned positive, her fever spiked to 103. So we knew it was serious. She was, from admission, given a round of antibiotics. So she had been on antibiotics in the NICU during her first cultures, and then she was on antibiotics again on admission in the ER during her cultures. This poor little girl has always been on antibiotics her entire life. I felt like the worst mom ever. I just keep thanking God and the universe and anything in that morning that told me to take her temperature, because she really might not be with us here today. If she wasn't such a good docile baby and was so upset that morning, I had no reason to take that temperature. So thank God we did what we did and we responded so quickly, because she's with us today. We had to wait in the hospital for her to receive her whole round of antibiotics. And we were discharged on January 16th. So, little girl, love sucking those fingers, right? So, I stayed with her the entire time since I breastfeed. They were able to give me a free breastfeeding tray for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which was great. I was on my maternity leave, so there was no issue with work or clients or this or that. So it was just me and the girl in the hotel room. That's what it felt like. In the hospital room the entire time. David did begin working again. He had to go back to work, so he would go to work and then come to the hospital, stay with us. Depending on the night, if he had to wake up super early, he would go home and sleep. If he could sleep in a little bit, he would come to the hospital, stay at the hospital. But if you've ever been admitted into a hospital floor, you do not sleep. There's always people coming in, getting vitals, doing this, doing that. And you don't sleep well. There's a ton of beeping and noise and cries. I mean, children's hospital, they're screaming children. So, yeah. So we just didn't get a lot of sleep. Bacterial meningitis. What type did she have? She was diagnosed with the bacteria E. coli, which basically can only be transferred during labor. It's very rare that newborns have E. coli bacterial meningitis. E. coli you usually hear with like spoiled food or whatnot. She never received any food or spoiled anything, so they assume it was in my GI tract. It's on everyone's GI tract. It's in your stool and poop. So if she was down in my birth canal for too long, she could have been contaminated at that point with the E. coli. So that's what we are assuming happened. There's no way to tell for sure. But yeah, so the only thing that we could have avoided was her being in the birthing canal for too long, and unfortunately I wasn't checked very often, so there is nothing that we could do about this diagnosis. At that point I felt a lot better about this situation, because when they said, oh, newborns don't get bacterial meningitis, I was disheartened, like I did something wrong, or I don't know, I just was not feeling like a good week-old mom. I've never had any of my friends deal with something so serious before, so I had never even imagined or thought that we would be going back to a hospital after she was born. I wasn't prepared for that, and neither was she. Don't cry, baby girl. Don't cry, baby girl. It's okay. See, it upsets her. I thank God every day that we went into the hospital, because it was really scary. It was really scary for a very long time, because after that turned positive, after hearing, oh, it's no big deal, she's gonna be fine. It scared the living crap out of me, and I, for a hot minute, wasn't sure if I would have my healthy baby girl anymore. I was afraid that she might have hearing loss, or she might have serious consequences, like being developmentally disabled. I was very, very scared for you, baby girl. I was very worried. I was very worried. Following bacterial meningitis, they retapped her. She was clear completely. We just had to finish out our stay there with her antibiotics. And then we have follow-ups from here on out. So every about 3 months we have follow-ups. We have hearing follow-up, which she's been passing with flying colors, thank God. And we also have developmental follow-ups to make sure that she's hitting all of those milestones, which she's been passing as well. So we are so thankful that all is fine with our little girl. Yes. If they're fussy or warm to the touch or not eating normal or upset, I said fussy, but if they're clearly upset, take their temperature. If I haven't found that temperature that early on, she wouldn't be the girl she is today. Also, if you have any questions, call your doctor right away. There's no reason. At first I thought maybe is my thermometer broken. I found 3 different thermometers in my house and I took her temp with all of them. They were all high. So if you have any questions, you call your doctor. You go in there ASAP. Don't wait around. There is no reason to wait with a newborn. If you have to stay and you're admitted into a hospital with a newborn or a young child in general, figure out something that makes you calm and that you enjoy. My mom was able to come since she's retired. She stayed with me a lot during our stay. David and I, if David's my rock, I would have died without him. Sorry. If you have a partner, lean on your partner because that's what you're there for in hard times. We really came together as husband and wife at that moment, and we were both just as scared and both deal with things very, very differently. But just not saying a word and those hugs and those cuddles and those kisses mean so much when you're going through something so hard. So thank you, David. You're my Bashir, and you always have been and you always will be. And I'm just so thankful for you. His family came and visited. His Aunt Dawn came and visited. His mom and dad. His sister Gina was able to come home from New Hampshire. Those visits, and oh my God, my YAYA sisterhood. So I have a group of girls that we all are in a constant group text all day and all night for a long time now, probably for about 6 months. And they were friends prior to me joining their little group. They came together and brought me a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, the outpour of support while we were in the hospital was insane. My sisters, thank you from the bottom of my heart. And my friend Eden from school, she brought us a nice little care package. So we were in the hospital for all of the holidays, for Christmas, Christmas Eve, Christmas, and New Year's. So she brought us a New Year's Eve dinner, which was so great. Dave and Paula, I mean, I could go on and on and on. The nurses there, I knew several nurses at Children's Hospital. They took care of us. They got us into a suite right away. That was amazing because I was sleeping there every night. It was really hard to sleep on that pull-out chair. So they got us a full room suite with a bathroom and everything. I mean, gosh, grandmas and grandpas. I could go on and on and on with who helped and supported us. The amount of Tim's cards, the coffee and the donuts. Like, I still am using them, and words can't describe how much everyone who reached out to us meant, and how much that helped us. It was not fun being locked in a 4x4 room during the holidays with a newborn. That's our story of meningitis. So, A-okay now, right? Everything's okay now, but it was very scary. It was very, very scary for us. We're just very thankful for you, right? Can you get the camera? Go get the camera. Get the camera. You see yourself? Yeah?
Missing someone.
Merry Christmas. Love you. Christmas.
Merry Christmas. We love you, Talia.
Love you, Talia.